perspective. We are getting into our next map.
Well. Yes.
I like. We're just so excited about this. We can't shut up about it.
So cool.
I really like the Gatling. The Hades is super difficult, and I'm impressed that the writers were able to get that to work. We're getting underway. Let's go ahead and go through it. For the Bard Laws coming into this game number 2, we have the Made in Japan. Haha. A galleon being piloted by Horus. Port side, Gatling double Hwacha for some serious kill potential. On the starboard side, we have double Lumberjack for a quick balloon disable, and on the back, a flamethrower. They also have the Blasting Bugle, a Pyramidion being piloted by Tips and Tricks. Gatling mortar forward of a flamethrower and carronade on the port.
And then on the blue team, we have the fancy Dementio's famous Mobula that's got that Mercury Field gun on the top, the Artemis on the side, and Caro Flamer below. Finally, the Lib GDL bouncing against terrain, which is a blender fish piloted by Luosi, which is a flamer and flare gun bouncing against more terrain.
Excellent.
Oh, this is a good flank that the Lib GDL has set himself up with, where he can just close in on the Made in Japan. Blasting Bugle is onto his little trick and is closing in. However, he does lose his balloon.
Yeah, he's going to drop down. The Lib GDL is just going to pop right up. Easy arcs, I think, for that carronade. The carronade did eat a lot of that damage, and that actually helped. It kept their armor up, and their gunner can go ahead and repair it just fine. Made in Japan, right now, maybe in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's lost his balloon. He is sinking down. The Fancy is, a little low for Artemis arcs at this point, but he should be sinking into arcs any moment now. Made in Japan just going to get grounded in the ground, but the Blasting Bugle is coming in to give a little bit of support fire, bringing the Lib GDL off target.
Yeah, the Lib GDL, however, still able to keep that flamethrower going, and the Made in Japan is going to hit the ground hard. Armor comes back up just in time. Blasting Bugle, in the meantime, trying to make something happen, but this tar is going to make it very difficult to navigate.
Yeah, and there's three large clouds who just stacked up here. Mortars going into the Lib GDL, doing a fair amount of perma damage, forcing the Fancy at least to give him a hand. Fancy coming up to block. Flamer going down. Blasting Bugle's got a couple fires he's got to deal with.
Yep, Fancy turning around, trying to help its ally. Artemis coming out as well, going a little bit wide. It's really hard to hit targets with the Artemis while the ship is turning.
Yeah, Artemis takes a lot of effect from that momentum in that turning. While its armor goes down, Lib GDL has done an excellent job backpedaling and avoiding that Gat mortar blast.
Look where they are. They're in a dust cloud.
Yeah, Bugle is not sitting in good shapes right now. Lib GDL is out of that dusty cloud and has set himself up to re-engage with that carronade and just ground Bugle against the ground. Lib GDL has got himself in a good position.
In the meantime, the Fancy moving in on the Made in Japan. They're on the lower decks. They're disabling this galleon quite well, and now they've got their Artemises on it too. This poor galleon just cannot catch a break. Off on the other side, in the other little bit of combat, the Blasting Bugle still fighting the Lib GDL. Lib GDL goes a little bit high. Made in Japan, I'm just going back and forth on both of them. Made in Japan, losing
is
its
about
armor.
to go down.
The
There
Fancy just
she
had
goes.
it way too easy.
And now Fancy is going to move in and engage the Blasting Bugle. Lib GDL spins that carronade around, probably going to take out that balloon. And, actually, instead of running away, the Blasting Bugle is turning to engage.
Yeah, I think they've realized that they're not going to be able to escape the Fancy. The Fancy is going to do just way too much. Armor down. Artemis goes... No, it doesn't even matter. Fancy gets it with the Artemis. I thought the Artemis might go wide, but nope.
Nope. Yeah, Made in Japan has respawned fairly far away. Probably going to spin those Lumberjacks to try to hit on the impending approach from the Riders team. Is their Pyramidion even going to have time to spawn before they close in?
Maybe. Watcher goes down. This galleon is getting disabled hard already.
Yeah, his hull is down. Artemises are going to start landing. Blasting Bugle has spawned now very far away. It's going to take him a while to charge in while the blue team is already in his nose. Made in Japan is not in a good position at all, once again.
Oh no, Horatio needs to not be chemming right now. He needs to be repairing. Maybe a little bit of a mistake there. That's going to make the Galleon take a lot of chip damage. LibGDL, however, under fire from the Blasting Bugle.
Yeah, that Metamidian did take his sweet time to cruise in, but he is cruised in now, but a little too late for his poor ally. And now he is going to take the full force of that Metamidian just into the engine column, into those side weapons, into that hull. His balloon is not doing so hot either.
They're doing okay. They're doing okay. They got it back up. The Fancy right now has arcs. It's going to be able to land on the Blasting Bugle. There's that trifecta. Look at those beautiful Artemis shots. Can they actually disable the main engine, though? Armor down.
I don't even think
the Blasting Bugle.
Not with the GDL this close and with his carronade going.
Ouch.
And they are absolutely in red spawn. Made in Japan has spawned again as far away as possible, very wisely. Should not be long before riders get a general bead on his location. There's only so many places you can spawn.
Yeah, pretty much. They know which side they're going to be on, and I think the spots are going to come down pretty quickly. That was a very nice engagement for the riders. Not only did they keep a fair bit of hull from it. I mean, the LibGDL lost a little bit from where it was before.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay, I think, because the riders got the ribs. That's a great place to end an engagement, and now they have spots. They're actually going to approach. They're not afraid at all.
They're just going straight in. I mean, LibGDL did take a little bit of perma damage from a Metamidian earlier on in the game, but I mean, Fancy has just been pegging the Made in Japan and just putting down so much suppressing fire. And those lumberjacks are yet to start. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon.
Nice shots.
Too soon.
Holy cow!
Now good connections on the Fancy, bringing one of those Artemis gunners off of their gun and repairing the balloon.
Two. They brought both gunners off.
Wow. So
because the armor was taking hits from that lumberjack. They were hitting so much that the armor was in trouble.
Wow, and that is going to save them a lot of disabled potential for a little bit of time. While the Blasting Bugle is starting to move on the LibGDL, LibGDL is now retreating to the arms of the Fancy. Blasting Bugle either taking the bait or continuing the pursuit, depending on your perception. But Fancy has started to get him with that field gun.
Yep, LibGDL eating quite a bit of Gatling fire. They're going to be okay. They're just keeping them at a distance, but I feel like... I really feel like the... Oh, gosh darn it, they're a combination team. The Bard Lols. The Bard Lols want to close distance, but right now they're trying to keep the riders at bay.
Blasting Bugle's just taking too much damage from the Fancy right now. Those Mercs are the Mercury Field Gun, generally pretty easy to, it's difficult to disable components, but it's pretty easy to peg a hole with. And,
yeah.
I mean, they're just landing consistently, doing a lot of damage. Bugle has just backed up to the point where he's able to avoid most of the damage, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to keep that up.
Meantime, LibGDL moving in on the Made in Japan. They're going to turn. What are they going to try to do? Are they going to try to land a flare? I don't think so. No, they're just going to run past and be a distraction.
That takes a heavy watcha, and they lose their hull. Mortars, I think, a little bit out of effective range. Gatling is just barely nicking them. LibGDL actually gets out of range. Blasting Bugle has exposed its engine column to the Fancy, and they are going to lose hull any moment here. There it goes. Artemises are landing. This could be it for the Bard Lols. No.
Not quite. Where's the armor?
Not this whole strip. I'm afraid LibGDL is closing in, getting the balloon out on the Blasting Bugle. One more shot.
Oh man, sorry to interrupt you. The Made in Japan trying to body block, but the carronade just way too much. Riders pick up match number 2, and they are your victors of Sunday Community Skirmish number 27. Yeah. Very handily.
Congratulations to the Riders, making a sweep through the competition and finishing in first this week.
Very impressive. Very commanding victory. I never felt like they were out of control in any of those engagements in this finals.
I agree.